Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to cover some things about hiding module content in draft state. So first of all, what is the difference or how can you tell if something is published or unpublished? Well, Canvas makes it really easy. If it's published, it will have this green cloud. So if you see up here at the top of the screen by example module, you'll see these green clouds. Green clouds mean that something is published. So in this module, you've got a green cloud here, all green here. That means everything's published. Down here, you can see under Tools and Resources, the cloud is gray. So that cloud is gray. What that means is that even though all of these clouds are green, this module as a whole is actually hidden from student view. So students cannot see this module because this cloud is gray. Now it's really easy though, if you want to make it published to students, you want students to be able to see it, all you need to do is just go to where that little gray cloud is and make it green. So now it is published. Sorry, didn't mean to suck that up there. So it's published, but for right now for this we're going to go ahead and unpublish it to talk about some of the important considerations when using draft state. So the first thing is that anytime you add new content to Canvas, the default is that it's going to be unpublished. So for example, if we come over here and right there, so click the plus button and I am going to add a new content page and we're going to call it example page 1 and add the item. So what you can see is that this example page 1 got added, but its automatic thing, how it starts, is to be unpublished, which what this means is that even if you go into this page and start working on it, it will not be published until you click that and actually publish it. So you can also do that while you're working on the page. So if you're actually in adding content to your example page, there would be an option you could publish it. But it's really important, you have to make sure that things are green. If they're not green, students cannot see it. Which brings me to another important consideration, so the second important consideration, and that's if module and module content is unpublished, it will not automatically publish when you hit the unlock date or the available date. So for example, if I was to unpublish this one, what would happen is that even though this module is set to unlock on June 2nd at 12 a.m., it will not unlock to students. And it won't unlock to students because it's not published. So this unlock date does not override the published or unpublished state. So what this means, students will not be able to view this module at all, and even when that unlock date comes, the students will still not be able to view this module. In addition, even though we've got this set to open June 6th, students will not be able to access this content because right now we've got it set to all be hidden or unpublished from students. So it's really, really important that if you've got something set to unlock or you have something set to be available to students, you need to make sure it is published prior to those dates, otherwise students will not be able to access it. So this brings us to one of the third important considerations for module and module content that is published and has a locked or an available from date will still be accessible to students. So now that this is published, if students went in, students would be able to see that this content was available. They would see these due dates, they would see this unlock date, but they would not be able to access it. So the green, all it does is just make sure that students can see that it's there and that it's going to be accessible, and then once this June 6th or once this June 2nd pops in, then they would be able to start clicking and actually accessing the content, but it does have to have that green arrow, or green cloud, I'm sorry. So then it leads us to one of the fourth important considerations, module and module content that is published and does not have any lock or unlock dates. So let's say this module doesn't have a lock date. It's completely visible to students and students can completely access things. So if you just want it to be completely open to students, you don't want to worry about due dates or anything like that, you could just leave everything green and you're good to go. So now the fifth and last thing, and this is really super important, if students have already taken or started submitting to an assignment, a discussion, or a quiz, you cannot hide that. So even if you were to hide this module, so even if I was to hide this module, students are still going to be able to access these things right here because they've already submitted. And you can tell that because if I tried to unpublish this, it actually says you can't unpublish if there are student submissions. So see, it's not actually letting me click on it, and it's telling me that I can't unpublish if there are student submissions. Now up here, now these are example ones I just created. I can unpublish these individually because students haven't submitted. But once students have started submitting to something, you cannot unpublish them from students. That also is kind of another important consideration. If maybe you want a module open, but you don't want everything in the module visible to students, you can kind of pick and choose. So for this example module, maybe I want students to be able to see the example module, but I don't want them to be able to see this quiz or this page. So you can unpublish things. So that means the students could see well, they could see the module, the example assignment, and example discussion. They would not be able to see the example quiz and example page 1. Which leads us to, if you're confused and you're not sure what students can see or not see, the best thing to do is to view your module content from student view. So for right now, I'm going to leave these two things hidden. I'm going to go ahead and publish this one. So this should be visible. And now what we're going to do is over here, so on the far left side of your page in your course, go down to your course settings. Now these are your course settings, bottom left. Click on it. And then once you get your settings for your course to come up, and you might need to scroll over, but now in the top right, you're going to see Student View. Go ahead and click on Student View, and you're going to get to see the course. So that's the home page of the course. So now I need to go over to Modules, and this is what students will see. So as you can see in this example module, you've got things that are hidden from the students. So you've got, and they can't click on these because this unlock date hasn't opened. So that's why you can't click on it. But you can see that not only can you not click on it, but those two, the example quiz and the example page that I created, are both completely hidden from student view. Yet you see in this module that I had open to students in all green, it is visible. So now to leave student view, just go down to the bottom of your page, click leave student view. You can also reset the student if you've done something, but we're going to go ahead and leave student view. And then you can go back and see everything that has already been done. So, and this one, once again, students could see it because even though this was published, students have already submitted content to this. So I hope this explanation has